Good morning. I'd like to call to order recess meeting of April the 30th, 2025. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Baker? Here. Mr. Beck?
Here.
Mr. Chauncey?
Will not be with us today.
Mr. Graham?
Here.
Mr. Hilton? Here. Dr. Highlander?
Here.
Dr. Mackey?
Here.
Commissioner Sharp?
Here.
Mr. Shipley? Commissioner Smith?
Here.
Mr. Chairman Eversole.
Here. Invocation and pledge will be done, I guess, Commissioner Shipley, are you doing it this morning? Okay. So all please rise.
Would rise, going to ask Attorney Taylor to lead us in the prayer, and I'll lead the pledge.
Let us pray. Our Father, for another day, we are truly thankful for the land in which we live, the government that we have, the servants of the people as well as the people. We give you thanks, we give you the praise, we give you the glory. We ask for your very presence and guidance in all that's said and done on this day. And above all, we'll be ever mindful to bless your name. It's in the name of your Son, Jesus, that we pray. Amen.
If you will, face flag, proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Shipley. Mr. Clerk, I am not showing any items on the recess agenda. Is that correct? Okay, then we'll adjourn recess and we'll go into agenda session. We'll do a roll call, please.
Mr. Baker?
Here.
Mr. Beck?
Here.
Mr. Chauncey absent. Mr. Graham?
Here.
Mr. Hilton? Dr. Highlander?
Here.
Dr. Mackey?
Here.
Commissioner Sharp?
Here.
Commissioner Shipley? Commissioner Smith? Mr. Chairman Eversole.
Here. Presentations, we have presentation, Commissioner Shipley. I'll turn it over to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Chairman, Commission. I have back here for the second year in a row the Saudi Daisy Trojan Wrestling State Championship. School that I was and I know they got to be proud. 2 years in a row is a big deal, but we've had multiple championships through the years. So I'm going to ask School Board Steve Slater, District 1, to come up and join us this morning. And Principal Cass, you come up and introduce your staff here, and then we'll get started at that point. Madam Clerk, would you read the proclamation?
Hamilton County, Tennessee Board of Commissioners offers their congratulations to Saudi Daisy High School wrestling team. On behalf of the officials and citizens of Hamilton County, we wish to honor and congratulate you as a member of the Saudi Daisy High School wrestling team for winning the 2025 TSSAA Dual State Championship and the 2025 TSSAA Traditional State Championship. The dedication, discipline, diligence, and sportsmanship displayed by your contribution to the Saudi Daisy wrestling team provide a positive role model and example to your fellow students. We would like to thank you for your exceptional sportsmanship and competition and bringing prestige and recognition to Saudi Daisy High School, Hamilton County, and its citizens. Whereas such excellence deserves public acclaim and recognition, therefore be it resolved by the County of Hamilton, Tennessee, that this certificate and congratulations be conferred. Presented this 30th day of April, 2025, Gino Shipley, Hamilton County Commissioner, District 1.
Where is Steve Henry? Did I see him? Come up here. Steve was a Red Bank guy, turned Saudi Daisy. But I talked to him, I told him I wanted to recognize him. He's the one that brought Saudi Daisy wrestling to the top 30 years ago. He's been part of it, still part of it, retired, but he's always there to help in any way he can. And I don't have a trophy I can give you, but we appreciate you and Sadie Daisy and everything you've done this all these years. Santa, where's Mayor Wamp? Mayor Wamp, you want to join in here? Principal Cash, I'll let you introduce your staff and.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Thank you, Commissioner Shipley, for all your support. We couldn't do the great things we do in Sadie Daisy without Commissioner Shipley and District 1 Representative Steve Slater. And thank you, Mayor Wamp, for all of your continued support for our wrestlers. I'd like to welcome parents, family, and our amazing wrestling team here this morning to be honored. When I call your name, would you please step forward and shake the hands of these wonderful gentlemen here. Our athletic director in my right hand, Mr. Jared Hensley, come on up. Coach Shane Turner and Coach Ulrich Weinsberg. These guys have been instrumental in leading this wrestling team and wrestling community of parents to repeat state championships in traditional and duels, and several individual championships as well. And we also have some All-American wrestlers that will be recognized this morning as well. So when I call your name, gentlemen, would you please come forward? Daniel Adcock, Knox Beeson, Baxter Blazik, Chandler Brooks, Colin Bull, Brody Castellan, Boogie Cosper, Jonathan Davis, Finn Dees, Alan Downing, Jackson Edmondson, Tyson Flavin, Fisher Higgins, William Holloway, Aiden Jenkins, Christian Jones, Jake Laxton, Loudon Laxton, Colton Meister, Nate Montserrat, Luke Myhan, Edith Province, Logan Rawlinson, Caden Roberts, Emmett Rose, Jaden Turner, Nathan Wade, Charles White, and Jeremiah Wysong. Ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the brightest and best of the Sadie Daisy community. And at this time, I'd like to, yes, please give a round of applause. At this time, I'd like to recognize Sequoia High School's principal, Amy Myhan, to come up and recognize our All-American wrestlers.
Good morning. Thank you. It's been my privilege to work with Sadie Daisy High School and Principal Cass and Mr. Hensley as our TSSAA partner. Sequoia High School has several wrestlers on the team. This year, 3 students attend Sequoia and wrestle for Sadie Daisy. Sadie Daisy wrestling team has 2 academic All-Americans this year. One from Sadie and one from Sequoia. And so we'd like to present them. They don't know that they're getting this. Jonathan Davis. And Luke Myhan. Thank you.
Guys, y'all are part of a heck of a tradition in Sadie Daisy, Tennessee. I grew up in Hickson and knew a bunch of Sadie Daisy state champions. And I think it says a lot about the Sadie Daisy community. You think about the great communities of this county. Signal Mountain's another one of them that's not bad at wrestling. But you guys, for a long time, have set the pace. And it's incredible the things that come out of teamwork. If you work hard enough and you're disciplined enough, your hair will turn the same exact color as your teammates. But, it's one of these things where, the older I get, the more I reflect on, my high school days. And you guys may not fully appreciate what the hard work of your teenage years will mean, not just to y'all and the camaraderie of your friends, but even to your families. And we're incredibly proud of you. Congratulations.
Before we come to an end, you young men, y'all rode around that old parking lot up there all your life with ruts, tore up, and people griping. The gentleman right up here helped put the money together and fund that new parking lot, and it's really great for the people to come and watch y'all. Y'all deserve it. The families deserve it. And this commission, year and a half so ago, put the main funds together with a resolution where your rings are paid for, all state championship rings. Parents don't have to worry about buying them. So these gentlemen right up here, they do a lot. I just got to be up here this morning. These are the guys that helped put it all together. So everything being said, we'll get a picture, and after we do that, I'd like you gentlemen to go right around there and shake hands for this commission.
Okay. Mayor, one of the young men that come by here and one of the principals said that maybe a charity event, maybe you could wrestle one of their,
Yeah, for about 5 seconds, I could wrestle one of those guys. I could back up for 5 seconds.
so Mayor, you got some stuff to cover with us this
Well,
morning?
just real briefly, at the start of the meeting, I wanted to introduce to y'all Paris Vanette, who is our new communications director, was able to join us a few days earlier than we originally had expected. And so she's doing some onboarding today. And as y'all know, a couple months ago, Jennifer Buchanan left the county after a really awesome run in the county mayor's office. And so we took our time thinking through how we would shift things to better serve the needs of the county and the community. And we started looking for a communications director, and actually had gone through that process for several weeks before finding Miss Vanette. And I think she's not just incredibly qualified for the position, but I think you all will find her to be a dynamic professional who will work really well with this body and represent the county with dignity and professionalism. And I just wanted to take a moment, Paris, if you want to say a quick word here. I just want you all to all know her. She'll be around the building starting today. I'm grateful, Chairman, you'd let me do this here at the beginning of the meeting because she's got some onboarding to do. But Paris is a Louisiana native, and before coming to the city of Chattanooga, ran communications for a very large school system, actually much larger even than our school system, and for a city in Louisiana also. So Paris, we're grateful to have you.
Thank you, Mayor Wamp, and I'd like to thank Mayor Wamp for this opportunity as well. I'm honored to be stepping into this role. My name is Paris Vanette, as he said, and I'm really proud to be serving Hamilton County as a Hamilton County resident myself, and I'm so deeply honored to be just serving you all and making sure that we all can do what's best for all of the constituents, including myself. And so I just really want to express how grateful I am to be stepping into this role, and that I come to you ready to serve with respect, with transparency, and I'm looking to work collaboratively. And if there's anything that I can do, I'm an open book, and I'm just excited to be working with each of you. So thank you for the opportunity.
Well, welcome to the team. Okay, with that, we'll move forward with our resolutions, or actually the minutes. We'll be looking at minutes next week and entering of the recess meeting for April the 9th, 2025. Agenda session, April the 9th, 2025, and the regular meeting of April the 16th, 2025. We'll also be looking at entering 3 reports into the record next week. With resolutions, we'll begin with 525-1. So Madam Clerk, if you'll read captions.
Resolution 525-1, a resolution to approve and accept applications for notary public positions, the bonds and oaths of notaries previously elected, the oath of deputy sheriff, and to file the bonds of Hamilton County 911 Emergency Communications District.
Okay, so no lights, no one standing for comments, so we'll take this up next week. We'll move forward with 525-2.
Resolution 525-2, a resolution to confirm Newt Protonk the reappointment by the county mayor of T.W. Francescon as the chairman of the Hamilton County Employee Appeals Board for a term ending March 15th, 2027.
Okay, see no lights for comment, no one standing. We'll take this up next week. We'll move forward 525-3.
Resolution 525-3, a resolution confirming the appointment of Casey Smith to the Hamilton County Board of Electrical Examiners for a term ending March 1st, 2027.
Okay, see no lights for comment from the board or anyone standing. So we'll take that up next week. We'll move forward 525-4.
Resolution 525-4, a resolution to appoint Rose E. DeCosimo to the Hamilton County Audit Committee for a 3-year term beginning June 26, 2025 and ending June 26, 2028.
Okay, see no lights on for comment from the board or no one standing. So we'll take that up next week. We'll move to 525-5.
Resolution 525-5, a resolution making an appropriation to the Mountain Education Foundation in the amount of $2,500 from general fund travel discretionary monies as allotted to District 2.
Okay, self-explanatory. Mr. Baker? Any more?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, this is something I'm fortunate to do every year. It helps students be able to go to Boys State and Girls State.
See See no more lights, no one standing. We'll take this up next week, 525-6.
Resolution 525-6, a resolution making an appropriation to the Mountain Education Foundation in the amount of $5,000 from general fund travel discretionary monies as allotted to District 2.
Yeah, and this one actually is assisting with the tennis courts that we're building. About 2/3 came from ARP funds, and then about 1/3 have been raised privately. So, thank you.
All right, see no more lights, no one standing for comment. We'll take this up next week, 525-7.
Resolution 525-7, a resolution making an appropriation to the Walden's Ridge Emergency Services in the amount of $2,640 from general fund travel discretionary monies as allotted to District 2.
Commissioner Baker?
This is for Walden's Ridge Emergency Services for replacing hoses, of all things.
Okay. See no lights, no one standing. We'll take this up next week. And then 525-8.
Resolution 525-8, a resolution to authorize payment of $140,000 to Kurt Deering and attorneys Michael and Hamel P. LLC for the full and final settlement of any and all claims arising from his employment with the Hamilton County Health Department.
Okay, see no lights on and no one standing for comment. We'll take this up next week. Commissioner Smith, let's take an item from finance and do it if we could right now, since we got people waiting for this particular one. So 525-12, and I apologize, Madam Clerk, because we're throwing ourselves off. But we've got individuals here that need to get back to their respective positions. So we'll go ahead and read the captions for 525-12.
Resolution 525-12, a resolution authorizing the county mayor to accept a donation from Walden Security, Ronnie Barnes, and Steve Holmes to the Hamilton County Veterans Treatment Court in the amount of $2,200 to purchase 300 challenge coins and to amend the Office of Economic and Community Development's fiscal year 25 revenue and expenditure budget accordingly.
Again, thank you. I appreciate you. Morning, Commissioners. I'm just really excited that we have this donation coming in, and I want to hand it off to Sheriff Hammond to tell you a little bit more about it.
Morning, Commissioners. I'll introduce Sheriff Hammond. Basically, this is something, just one more example of how this community really supports our veterans in need. Challenge coins, as you may know, are used throughout military and law enforcement to build camaraderie and esprit de corps, and to show that someone has actually accomplished something significant. These challenge coins that Sheriff Hammond has raised the money for, along with some donors, will be used to not only build that camaraderie among the fellow veterans who have completed our program, but also with our partners. So each partner will get one of these, building a team spirit. And Judge Starnes, I see is here. Thank you, Judge Starnes. You want to add something to that?
We're doing very, very well in the Veterans Treatment Court. I know you guys like to monitor that. We've got folks enrolled in both. We're doing good with it, and we're proceeding on, and we couldn't have done it without your help. So thank you. Thank you for what I think is going to be an approval today, I hope. Thank you.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. It is a special privilege for me to be part of this program since I was in the United States Navy. And so anytime I can assist veterans, it's my pleasure to do so. When I became aware that there was a need for these challenge coins, the judges were looking for something they could use to honor those who graduate as veterans through this program in honor of their service and their willingness to go through the program that the courts have set for them to restore them to the honor that they deserve for their service. It was a no-brainer for me to reach out to several businessmen. There were 3 businessmen who gave the money, amounting to $2,200. One of them is in the hospital today. If you'll remember him in your prayers, Ronnie Barnes, who has been going through some rehab for problems he's had. Mike Walden with Walden Security is in Washington doing some legislation up there. But I'm going to ask Steve Holmes to step up a business. Just stand up a minute where you are. You're fine right there, Steve. He's a businessman. These men without hesitation stepped up and said, we'd like to do that. So I am asking that next week you consider voting for these funds for these challenge coins. Thank you very much. Any questions you might want to ask the judge today? You'll probably want to debate it more next week.
Do have some lights, so Commissioner Sharp.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Sheriff, thanks for being here today. It's good to see you. It's been a
Good to
while.
be here.
Judges, obviously.
I thought I
Um,
forgot my way up here, but I
Yeah,
found it.
you found it. Well, I'm glad you're here, and this is exciting. I think it's a great idea. I don't know who initiated it, but whoever did that,
The
Thank
judges
you.
reached out to me and told me that they had a need, and I felt like it was something I would like to be involved in.
that's great. I appreciate you bringing it forward to us, and thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, see any more lights? Judge Starnes, Judge Patterson, Sheriff, thank you. To me, this is an excellent opportunity for recognition. Those challenge coins mean a lot. It's a small token of someone's commitment, and so I really appreciate what you guys are doing. So, Mr. Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too am very excited about this program. I think it's a great opportunity, and I appreciate all the people that came together to do it. But these very important people, I will be supporting this next week, 100%. No questions asked. But I just didn't know, Mr. Chairman, if these very important people needed to come back next week.
I don't see very many, well, there was no lights. I don't think there will be any questions, so
I don't know that my Walmart job will let me come back next week, but thank you.
I appreciate it. Commissioner Highlander?
I just want to add my point. I think that this will be 100%. I can't see anyone having any problem with this. But like the sheriff, my father served in the United States Navy, and our veterans have gone through so much. And some of the things that they're going through now post-military service is very demanding, very hard on them. And a good friend of mine lost their son and to PTSD. And so I just hope and pray that this is an encouragement to them. And thank you so much for doing it.
Mr. Baker?
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. Mr. Holmes, thank you for your donation, making this possible. I just have a question. And any of you three could answer it. If I have a few challenge coins, if you gave me a challenge coin, or you asked me for the challenge coin, and I've got the wrong one, does it still count?
Ask a military guy about that. So if you're talking about like you get caught.
If I've got the wrong one, you've got one, and I've got a different one. What do you do there,
Well, there are a
Sheriff?
number of challenge coins. You know, actually, challenge coins got their start with military many years ago. I think one of the generals first came up with it, but it's become an honorable thing to use in public service if you're in law enforcement or the military. And people enjoy them, appreciate them. I'll always like to look at mine laying on my dresser and remind myself the service I had both in the Navy and in law enforcement. And I think most people that have them are honored to get those. It replaced the old coffee cups everybody used.
Is
to
that
give
what it
me.
was? Yeah, I remember getting my first one was from the commanding officer of the USS Eisenhower. And that was quite a privilege for me, so.
I can answer that.
Oh, okay, great.
First of all, Commissioner Sharp, the challenge coins originated years ago, 30 years ago, when the first Veterans Treatment Court was done in Buffalo, New York. And they're used nationwide, and they're different in every county and city. Ours are going to be specific to Hamilton County. So, Mr. Baker, if you don't have Hamilton County, you're just out.
I'm out.
So we have redesigned them. I don't know if you've seen a draft of them or not. They're going to look really good. They have an eagle on them. All the branches of services are on there. And we'll make sure we bring you all of you one over.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the history.
Commissioner Beck?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sheriff, the last challenge coin you gave me was high quality, and I hope you're going to use the same company or somewhere close to the same company that can do that.
I think Beck could probably answer that. She's been working on that, the details.
Well, whomever.
You want to make a comment on how you acquired these or what company? I can assure you they'll be high quality.
Yeah.
Question was about the company, the coins. I believe we're working on that right now and following all proper protocol and rules.
Well, I hope you take some suggestions from the sheriff.
Yes, sir, always.
Thank you.
Okay, good deal. Thank you so much. So, and you should be good next week. Shouldn't have to come back, so. Okay, we will, our committee meetings will begin at the end of this session. We have, it looks like we got 2 resolutions for delinquent tax. So Commissioner Mackey got 2 items from it. Then we got finances, got 7 items, now 6, since we took one of them. So those will be immediately following this session. So we'll move into announcements. We'll start Commissioner Shipley in announcements.
No announcement.
Okay, Commissioner Baker.
Yeah, thank you. We had an audit meeting a couple weeks ago, and it came to my attention during the meeting that I thought I would share with each of you, because I didn't realize it was not protocol, that like, for instance, with the Saudi wrestling group, if we get a check for the rings, the chain of custody needs to be that it goes from finance office directly to them. And then I think Chairman Eversole and I talked about, we were going to get some, so that we get the acknowledgement, we'll get some of those checks that you can write on, you know, so we can do kind of do a fake check, you know, like you do, like you see at golf tournaments and things. So if that is okay with you all. But anyway, the point is, it's got to go straight, direct from finance to there, and we can't be in the middle to give it to them. It's just as a chain of custody thing. It's something that the comptroller came up with. Okay? Just want to remind everybody. Thanks.
All right, good deal. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A quick announcement due to the upcoming budget. Finance Committee will begin budget hearings next week on the 7th, which we will hear from supported agencies. And then the following week on the 14th, even though it was a double meeting, we will also continue budget hearings that day. As soon as the schedule is ready to go out, I will share that. We're communicating with the supported agencies starting today to ensure that they can attend on the 7th. And that is it at this point, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Mackey.
No announcements, Chair.
Mr. Beck.
No announcements.
Commissioner Sharp.
Thank you, Chairman. As a point of personal privilege, I would like to wish my father, Frederick Sharp, a Korean War veteran, a happy 92nd birthday today. And my mother, Katrinka Sharp, I want Katrinka. Yeah. Katrinka Faye. I won't give her age, but her birthday was on the 28th. And I don't know if it was an exercise in efficiency or what, but right between the 30th and the 28th is the 29th. So yesterday we celebrated their 63rd wedding anniversary. So I just want to express my appreciation to them and you know, in their contributions to our communities and the service that they've provided their communities, and in doing so, you know, maybe take a moment to recognize the service that all of our seniors provide to our community. Oftentimes, after they've left the workforce and sit at home and aren't as active in our communities, they don't get that recognition. So I just wanted to express my appreciation for all those. And that's it, Chairman. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Hilton. Commissioner Highlander.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to wish our friend Janetta Markhill a happy birthday today. She's here in attendance. She celebrated her birthday by bringing all the commissioners a cupcake. So I thought that was really nice and thoughtful of her. Also, I'd like to thank it happened to be all young men who went through the fire training program from East Ridge Fire Department, from Highway 58, and from Tri-Community. And then while I was there, I saw one of my community members, a young lady, who said she's signing up. She's inspired. She's going to be in it next year. So all these people provide such a good servant leadership for us, and I appreciate what they all do. And we've got an officer here who's one of the officers, and we appreciate him too. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Graham?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the cupcakes. Happy birthday. My school board member is here as well, Jill Black. I'd like to recognize her. And Commissioner Sharp, happy anniversary / birthday to your parents. The thing that I hold the most dear in my entire life is the relationship between my wife and I. We've been together since middle school. We started dating in high school and been together ever since. So I know how special that can be. So my condolences. I mean, happy anniversary, happy birthday. Excuse me. That was a Freudian slip, wasn't it? No. No other announcements.
Hey, Attorney Taylor? Mayor Wamp? Okay. Couple of things from the chair. Number one, Commissioner Graham is the chair of the Legal and Legislative Committee. And Commissioner Graham, I'd like to ask you to do something for us. I'd like for you to assemble your team and to create a memorandum that you can submit to the chair for review. As we go through in the next 60 days, we're going to be transitioning the county attorney's office. And what I'd like for that memorandum to include preservation and a cadence of how that office will be transitioning in the next 60 days, which will include anything electronic, anything in paper. So if you wouldn't mind to get your committee together and let's see what we can do as far as come up with a cadence in how we can ensure preservation, anything through electronic and also through paper, so we can work through this transition.
If the committee would want to actually just briefly meet this afternoon right after this meeting and then we can start laying the groundwork out for that.
Good deal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, appreciate it. Second thing is on May the 21st, there will be no commission meeting. Most of the commission will be in a legislative conference through the state of Tennessee. So on the 14th of May, we will be doing a dual meeting, which will be a agenda meeting and a regular meeting at the same time. So we'll be voting on items as we hear them, and be also question, comments, and so forth. So when you look at the agenda for May the 14th, make sure you understand when you come to that meeting, even though it's agenda meeting scheduled, it will be a regular meeting. We will be voting on those items. Okay. Okay. With that, we'll move forward to Commissioner Mackey.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, at the risk of putting my foot in my mouth, I want to make a comment, and that is, I've noticed when you find strong parents, the kids tend to do very well. I think about our county mayor and I see how well and how strong he is, and I watch him from a distance and I see how strong and the leadership and character that he instills in his family. And I think about our colleague here, Commissioner Sharp. I listen to Commissioner Sharp quite a bit. He was telling a story this morning, and it had to do with his dad. And his dad had gone to the public schools where he attended. And listening to David, he said he didn't find out about it until many, many years later, that his dad went to the teacher and told the teacher that she would be a good clerk. A good clerk. Parents are involved in their kids' education. And today, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, there's a man sitting right here, and I think he's going to say something, Freddie Brooks. I think he is going to say something about a program designed to strengthen youth. And if you don't mind, Chair, and if I'm not jumping the gun, Freddie, do you have anything to say?
I always got something to say. People may
Is this-
not want to hear it.
Is this a part of our public comments? Okay.
Well, we'll make it part of the 3 minutes you have.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. I'm Freddie Brooks. As he said, I was born in 1960 here in Hamilton County, educated at Howard from the first grade all the way through the 12th. Did 28 years in the Chattanooga Fire Department. No police officers don't like to hear about fire department, but we're going to overlook that, sir. Just wanted to say and piggyback off what Commissioner was saying. All of my life, I have been mentored. I was mentored at Emmanuel Baptist Church when I attended kindergarten. I was mentored in the Maurice Paz Home Housing Project when I got beat up a few times, but I did win a few fights over there. But when I went to Howard from the first grade all the way through the 12th, man, that has changed my life and it's still a part of my life. I still have relationships with some of those teachers to this day. In the fire department, I've volunteered all of my time in the community. We are implemented one of the best youth football programs in the city of Chattanooga that was started out at Tyner, and it ended up at Brainerd with the Brainerd Bills Football Association, where we've had so many young men and ladies as cheerleaders a part of that team to go on and be more successful. As firefighters, we always did educational programs for the citizens in Chattanooga by educating them about cooking, fire safety, and all of that. So being a mentor has always been a part of my life. So at this time now, at 64 years of age, for some reason, I want to still continue mentoring kids and giving back what was given to me. We started this mentoring program by educating our kids during the school breaks. During the spring and fall break, it's a 3-day session to where we're introducing the medical and the trade profession to our children who don't want to go to college, get them other opportunities to look at in providing for their families. Upcoming this summer, we will do a week-long retreat at Booker T. Washington State Park where they stay overnight for 6 nights. And we bring different presenters in to present team building, conflict resolution, communication skills, all of that to help our kids to be successful. But the main priority that I'm doing this program for is to keep our kids safe during school breaks. We have more concerns, and I partner with Sheriff Garrett and the police department and the fire department to say, hey, there are some things that take place with our children during their school breaks.
30 seconds.
We need to be somewhere to where that they can be safe. And I'm asking for you all to identify kids in your districts that we could use to help make this program more successful and build a solid foundation so that other kids can look at this and be a part of it. I thank you for your time. I really want to try to get back home so I can look at The Price is Right. That's what I do. So thank you so much.
How do we get in touch with you?
Information, and I've been a public servant all my life. I'm not hard to find. Freddie Brooks, you have my information in the folder right before you. So please reach out to me. I don't mind sharing anything I can. Thank you.
Thank you. We got a light on here, Mr. Brooks. Mr. Graham.
Mr. Brooks, I represent Howard, and Miss Ware is a wonderful principal. I
Yes,
love her
she
dearly.
is.
She is excellent at what she does. She's also an alumni for that school. So this Saturday is Battle of the Bosses.
Right.
And you are aware of it?
Yes.
Yeah. Of course, I know Miss Ware is going to mop the floor with Brainerd, but just saying. But I just want to make you aware of that because it looks like it's going to be a good event. There's still tickets available for anybody that wants them. But
Yes, and since you brought me back, there are community forward coordinators designated in certain schools that I work with, and I think it's 9 of them. And Howard has Miss Clay. I've been working with Miss Clay, so they have people that are designated to help, look at kids that would be a great fit for what we're doing. But I think that you all would be a better fit as well too by identifying some kids in your district. So thank you, Mr. Graham. I
See you
appreciate
Saturday.
it. Okay.
Commissioner Beck.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. I know about all the work you've been doing in the community. But I really am surprised that you didn't defend Brainerd when this guy said, mop the floor.
Everybody come through Howard. Krista Sorrell family, come through Howard. So
Yeah.
I didn't say nothing. I had my conversation with her.
You did. Okay, thank you so much
Yes,
for your
sir.
work. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. One quick question for you. Drew Carey or Bob Barker?
Who?
Drew Carey or Bob Barker?
Drew Carey.
Okay, we've officially moved into the public portion. If anyone from the general public would like to bring any new business forward, with the exception of zoning, I need you to come forward. Need your name and address. You get 3 minutes per person, up to 10 minutes per topic. So, we'll get started when your time will start for the 3 minutes as soon as you state your name and address.
All right, thank you. Monty Bell, the homeless journalist, the gray-haired fox, man with the $1 trillion voice. And I'm also a Brainerd Panther graduate, so we'll definitely see some folk on Saturday. And the reason that they are the Panthers. But the reason I'm here today, it's been a while. I've missed you guys. I'd never thought I'd ever say that, but I'm saying it today. We've got a lot of challenges coming up, gentlemen. One, particularly when rules of decorum violate the United States Constitution. We've had that. There's been a lot of changing people around. There's been a lot of appointments. There's been a lot of city people coming to the county. I don't know if it's vice versa, but we got that. I've never had a response about whether I could play an audio. I'd like to do that, Mr. Chair. I got about 38 seconds of it. It's in reference to persons practicing law without license. I've been here for the past 2 terms of you being the chair, and I haven't gotten anywhere with it. But this is crucial because the chief of staff from the city mayor's office, last day is tomorrow. An engagement that he engaged in with Monty Bell starting March the 11th, I'll say on record, is the reason that he will not be there starting tomorrow. But with your permission, I'd like to play a 30-something second audio recording because I've been here repeatedly asking for open records requests, and that request has repeatedly been denied.
Mr. Taylor, an audio recording, we have no way of knowing where the audio recording is coming from.
Comes from my office, sir.
Okay, so is that?
Comes from the office of the city attorney.
Mr. Chairman, if your question is the appropriateness of it, this is a point for public discussion, but presentations are generally scheduled through the commission office for the commission to approve coming before the body. Can't just open the floor up for anything that you don't know the consequences of what may be said. So it needs, I would not recommend you do it.
Okay, so if you'd like to submit that to the commission office for.
Well, with 13 seconds, 12 seconds, it's about an open request of a young lady named Janie Parks Farnell that spent a whole year with the city attorney.
Well, here's the thing.
And then the city attorney's
Your time's expired.
office
We're
said
not going to
that
talk
didn't
about
happen.
any individuals, bring any individual names up, so.
Oh, well.
Your time's expired.
We'll see you next week.
Good morning, gentlemen. Janetta Markel, 6731 Flagstone Drive, Ottawa. Yes, I'm here celebrating my 65th birthday by advocating for Hamilton County Schools yet again. I'm not going to talk to you about specifics in the budget because you're just going to tell me that you don't tell them how to spend their money, which you don't. So that is accurate. But I am here to talk about that the process does begin and end here. It does start here by you telling them how much is projected for them to have each year. A lot of conversations happen, and then they present their budget to you. And then there seems to be, a lot of discussion with that as well. And this year there seems to be a great deal of drama going on around funding our public schools. Every year it seems to happen. Our students need stability to succeed. Reducing our budget means reducing these investments in our children, decreasing their stability. I have been here long enough in this role to see that the investments made have been a huge part of the success of our children. The conversation between the county commission, the school board, and the community has been the exact same conversation for 20 years. I think it's time to change that conversation. I think the finger pointing, the questioning, the arguing whatever, that is going on, we need to change. We need to find the best solution for the future for our funding. There needs to be a long-range plan for funding our schools. And because this is the largest part of your budget, I think that should be a priority for us. We need to prioritize our children to give them the future they deserve, to ask really hard questions. What are we willing to invest in our children's future? What is the future of Hamilton County worth? Because they are our future. You hear people saying, I grew up in public schools. I grew up in public schools here. Some ideas: can the county increase the percentage of sales tax allocated to education beyond the 50% required by law, even if just for this year while you plan? Can we ask the city to do the same thing while you make some plans? Shift our priorities, not asking you to raise taxes. Think about a referendum that would address that. It's time to change the conversation as a community and come up with a long-term solution. Thank you.
Hi, Kathy Lennon, 401 Chrisman Street. Chairman Eversole, Commissioners. Hello, I'm back again. Saudi Daisy Wrestling Team. Wow, congratulations. And that I was at the meeting last year and they were recognized last year as well. Good job. What a great accomplishment again. My husband is a wrestling coach, so I know the hard work and dedication it takes to win a state title. It's not easy. Time, commitment, sacrifice, determination, teamwork, strong coaching staff that was up here. Did you all notice how strong and healthy and happy that those young men looked? That's public school. That's what all of our kids need to look like. That was awesome. What does Saudi Daisy have? They have a strong administration. They have a strong coaching staff. They have support from the community. Every single school in Hamilton County should have that, no matter what. That's hard, and that's going to be hard to achieve. This is public school. To me, that was public school at its finest. All schools in Hamilton County will thrive if given that same opportunity. Hamilton County is the 5th largest school district in Tennessee. Let's move the needle and make it the best. Help us fund our schools so that our teachers and students have all the resources they need to thrive. Hamilton County needs to keep the best of the best in teachers, coaches, administrators, support staff, and programs. Our kids and teachers matter. No more pointing the finger. It's time to roll up your sleeves and work together with the Hamilton County School Board and fully fund the needs of our schools. Just like the Saudi Daisy Wrestling Program, please support all programs offered to our students in Hamilton County because they are counting on you. Thank you.
Good morning. My
Let
name
me
is Audrey
hang on a
Ramsey.
second, real quick. I certainly apologize for interrupting you. I just
Okay.
want to get, before we get started. We limit it to 10 minutes per topic. So is there anyone else want to talk about the school? Because if there is, then we got one more. Okay, since there's only 2 remaining, I will get you, both of you 3 minutes apiece. Anybody else, we'll cut it all after that. So I will go ahead. That'll give us a full 12 minutes. Normally it's just 10 minutes, but we'll grant the extra. So
Okay,
so
thank
start with your
you.
name and address.
My name is Audrey Ramsey. I live in County District 8, and the city district is 4, and you'll realize why I'm saying that. I'm a proud Chattanoogan, and a proud American. And I was born and raised here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I graduated from Brainerd High School back during the days when we were called the Rebels, and our band played Dixie whenever a football game was won, and the band wore Confederate soldier uniforms. That was in the late 60s, early 70s, and I was a proud rebel. I was a rebel then, and I'm a rebel now. However, my parents overlooked some of the racism that we had to deal with me being the first generation integrating that public school system, because they were very strong and adamant about their children being educated and having a really good quality education. And here in Chattanooga, our city government is promoting the building of stronger communities. Now, I would think that a strong community is dependent upon the public school system or the schools in those districts. And I would think that having a strong, educated community is what is going to attract employers, because employers are going to examine the potential of the workforce and whether or not it's an educated workforce to meet their needs in their operations. So my question to you is, and I'm standing in this spot again, because if you'll recall, and some of you are new to this body, I was here during your redistricting. And I asked the question then, and I'm asking these questions now as it relates to public schools and the redistricting process. And these are my burning questions. I don't expect any of you to give me a response now, and hopefully our local investigative journalists will follow up on some of these answers. But my question today is, are the resources or funding being equally distributed across the entire school board? And although Senator Bo Watson's legislation or bill did not pass this term in the state legislature, what is the cost for deporting undocumented students? And wouldn't such an act involve due process of the law if implemented? And what would be that cost? Who makes the decisions on the school books being used as part of the learning process in the curriculum and instruction of each of the courses? And where is the accountability to ensure that the curriculum and instruction are balanced across the classes and grade levels? The question is also, what's
Ms.
the
Ramsey,
formula
your
for
time's expired.
determining?
If you'll just do a
Okay.
last comment real quick.
Yep. What is the formula for determining the line item costs for transportation and books? What's the funding source? And how does the tax assessment and the property taxes factor into the school budget? Does that process reflect equitable distribution of taxes across the school board?
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you for
Ramsey.
listening.
Good morning.
My name is Amy Packer. I live at 1007 Dartmouth Street here in Chattanooga. I moved here 5 years ago, and I learned from my fourth grader, who's a public school student, that Chattanooga used to be the most polluted city in America, and that the city and county had a huge effort to turn that around. And now Chattanooga has been recognized as a national park city, and the city and the county will reap the rewards from that commitment and investment by the city and the county. I do not pretend to understand all the history of Chattanooga or all the history of Hamilton County and how things have come to be what they are now. But I am here to say I think the same can be done with Hamilton County schools. When we moved here 5 years ago, one of our biggest questions of whether we would move to Chattanooga was, what are we going to do about schools? What are the schools like? Is this attractive enough for us to leave where we are now? What can we do about it? And fortunately, we landed in a place with incredible schools. And I have my fourth grader constantly telling me about the history of Chattanooga, the history of the Civil War, the history of everything around us. And I think that is remarkable. And I'm really proud of what the schools are doing. I had a privilege last year to work as a tutor at our local school. And I was so impressed with the level of professionalism, the level of commitment to the students, the level of commitment to families. And I feel really comfortable and confident with my children in public schools in Chattanooga. I would like to piggyback off of Ms. Janetta, was that right? I would like to piggyback off of her comment about creating a real clear plan, an ambitious plan. I think, Williamson County has always committed to funding their schools, and people flock to that place. I think if the commission is able to fully fund schools and show a clear plan to continue to fund those schools, you will attract more business, more investment in Chattanooga and in Hamilton County. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Did you have a comment about the schools?
Actually, it's like about the schools, but more about the school board. So it's not like, I don't know how to explain. Like, I'm not really talking about your relationship
The budget?
with the budget, but more about the school board specifically in my questions, if that's okay.
Okay. Understand, the public time here is not to ask questions because we won't answer.
Right.
If
Well,
you've got
it's more
questions,
like,
I would ask you to get with your commissioner, but
Oh,
this
well,
is to present, so. Go ahead. We got 3 minutes.
okay,
Start with your
I'm
name and
so
address.
sorry. My name is Blake Wright. I live at 3013 West Side Drive in Hamilton County, and I'm a CSAS alum, so I totally understand, everyone's talking about schools, et cetera. Actually, my concern was more specific to looking at the school board budget, and I do want to talk about this with the school board specifically, but I feel like I've talked to Joe Graham, I hope that's okay, and, like my commissioner, and my concern is basically, from my understanding of how this works, school board sets the budget, and after, you give them the money, they can do whatever they want with it. And looking at it, it's like Hamilton County compared to Rutherford and Williamson County are spending so much more money on central staff salaries and so much less money on our teacher salaries, like percentage wise. And so it's kind of like what Jeanette was saying in that way, where it's like, I don't feel, I've lived here for like 30 something years, and we've been arguing about this the whole time. And I just feel like, if there's some way that, I can talk to Joe Graham and I can talk to school board, but it's like going back and forth between your parents if they're divorced, and that's what it feels like. And so I'm just wishing that there was like some way that y'all could maybe revisit this entire process, like Jeanette said, because it's like, mom, dad, can you please talk to each other and figure this out, because no one's benefiting from this. So that's really my comments about the process as a whole, to be honest. And I don't really want to say fund the schools, because I know you care about the schools and y'all want to fund the schools. It's just about like figuring out how we rearrange this money. But like, clearly the process is flawed. And like, I've had great conversations with Joe, and, I trust that if y'all can just, have a divorce decree or something, we can figure it out. So thank you.
Love your analogy on divorce. So, Commissioner Sharp, do you have a comment?
Oh, sure. Chairman, thank you for
Your light was
recognizing me. Yeah, I did. I turned it on a minute ago. I wanted to show appreciation to Ms. Packard for speaking. She's taking the words out of my mouth. I mean, that's why I ran for office. The businesses that my wife has grown in this community, that we face those struggles every day in recruiting talent to our community that's needed, talent that we may not create here locally. It's a real challenge, and our inability to holistically address public schools in Hamilton County has created silos around the county where inequality, let's not even talk about equity, let's talk about equality. It doesn't exist. And it's a real challenge, but Ms. Wright, was it? She brings up another great point. I mean, as we look at these various counties' budgets, it's really hard to compare apples to apples. You've got apples and bananas and watermelons and all kinds of different budget platforms that various school districts put together. I mean, if there was some type of uniform budgeting way across the state, it'd be a lot easier to examine those things. I know that every county's different, right? Not every county has mountains and rivers and ridges like we do here in Hamilton County, which makes things more complicated logistically from time to time. Our school buses drive, I think it's 20,000 miles a day. It's a number that has been given to me by the school district. I don't know if a lot of people realize that. That's a massive challenge. But what is the answer? I've seen these various little documents floating around, Williamson County, Rutherford County. Some folks out of the mayor's office has thrown some numbers out there about Montgomery County and I think Rutherford County, and they're not apples to apples. And you know, who knows where we end up on this. I certainly wish that we would have more conversations about it. I think one of the things was, you know, Rutherford County or Montgomery, what is it, Clarksville in Montgomery County gives X amount more sales tax dollars to Montgomery County schools. Well, Montgomery County also has a higher sales tax rate of 9.5% as opposed to 9.25% in Hamilton County. And I don't know if there's another 0.25% in Clarksville, I believe, which puts them at 9.75%. So yeah, they have more levers that they are pulling than what we are pulling in Hamilton County. So I wrote an editorial about it back in June. Maybe that's something that we should look at more seriously on this board. But you know, maybe these positions is something that needs to be looked at too. We should look at all of those things. And I mean, if it is factual that we have twice as many administrators as similar sized districts, maybe that's not the right thing to be doing. But I tell you what also isn't right is not providing step raises that we agreed to provide for teachers in a contract that they signed with our county. Not us, but the county, right? In general, Hamilton County Schools. And you know, we can say that, you know, we're not making cuts to the school system, right? But if they have to cut $18 million out of the budget to maintain the positions that they currently have, that's a cut. That is a cut. Maybe not a financial cut, but it's a cut in services. And that's what it all comes down to. I mean, you have revenue and you have services. How do you balance it? I mean, we just need to be honest about it. And oftentimes I think, you know, folks try to take the data that is beneficial for them and their side of the argument without bringing in the other side of that same data, you know, that might not be beneficial to their argument. Let's just be honest about it. And but in order to have that honest conversation, we got to get together and talk. And as of right now, I don't know that we've done that effectively. So if we can get something on a calendar to do that, that would be fantastic, Chairman. And I appreciate the time. I've spoke longer than I intended to.
You know, I think there's not a person. I think there's not a person that sits up here that doesn't have a genuine care for the teachers and the students and fully understand what this budget looks like this year. You know, I've had several conversations, and if someone sends me an email or a phone call and they address it to me, I do my best to answer all of them. I know one morning it was like 14 teachers I spoke to in about 2.5 hours in just one morning. That was Wednesday morning, since we didn't have commission meeting last week. But you know, there's some tough decisions that we have to make as a body, because not only are we funding education, but we're funding a health department. We're funding a sheriff's office. We're funding the complete government body of Hamilton County. So it's not as easy to say, all right, this group gets less money, so we can give that group more money, because we basically have to rely on our source of funding is basically coming from property tax and sales tax and some other fees that are coming in. So we kind of know what that's going to be for the most part, but so we have to separate that and try to do the best we can. So I appreciate the comment. Commissioner Graham, before we close, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I just want to add to that, if it's all right, Mr. Chairman. Sure. I think we need to put it out to the voters. I think Commissioner Sharp is right. I mean, the state will allow us to increase the sales tax by half or 1/4%, and it would help the schools. I think we should put it on a referendum, which is by law we have to do, but I think we should put it on a ballot. I think we should put a referendum together to let the constituents of Hamilton County come to the voting booth and say how they want to fund our schools, and say how they want to come up with the revenue. So I would like to, as Commissioner Sharp and you're saying, I very much like to continue this conversation. I think there's a lot of solutions, but I think we need to include, like you said, there's so many other government entities that we have to fund as well. And they're all very important, right? They're all very important. I just think we need to include our constituency and let them vote on it. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Sharp.
It's done.
I did
Mr.
too.
Graham, I appreciate you opening the door. I mean, I agree with Commissioner Graham on that. We do, and I do. And as a matter of fact, I've started working on a resolution about that. You know, the funny thing about it is I can't tell you how many times over the last 3 years that somebody or how many different people have said, oh, that's a great idea, but you need to get a Republican to carry it. You know, so maybe we work on it together. You know, it's like, and I'm just tired of the partisan idea that, you know, just because it's an idea from a Democrat, it can't be a good idea. We can't support that. You know, that kind of mentality is maddening to me. I support Republicans and their ideas all the time, and I'm not afraid to say that. Not all of them, mind you. And there's some things that Democrats bring I don't support. I mean, we're all people. We're Americans at the end of the day. These kids are going to be working in the jobs and starting new businesses and all kinds of things in our community. And we got to do better, in my humble opinion. And I'm happy to work with anybody on it. But I've started something already, and if you want to join me, we'll do it together. Thank you, Chairman.
All right, I see no one else standing, and I'm just going to be blunt today. I've allowed applauses. We typically don't allow that in commission meetings, so please, that way we try to keep order with it. So with no one else standing, no other business will be adjourned to May the 7th at 9:30 a.m. We'll close this portion, and we'll actually start committee meetings, start with finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Madam Clerk, are we good? Ready to go? Please read 525-9.
Resolution 525-9, a resolution accepting the bid of Robert